Good evening, brothers and sisters. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, coming to you once again. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to the entire Black Georgia family. Shout out to Atlanta, Savannah, Conyers, College Park, all the way on down Augusta, Georgia. Shout out to my whole Black Georgia family. This is the state of my maternal ancestors. My maternal ancestors come from Georgia and North Carolina. Georgia and North Carolina. My paternal ancestors come from Maryland and Cuba. Maryland and Cuba. So you have Georgia and North Carolina on the maternal side. And on the paternal side, we have Maryland and the island of Cuba. Those are the four sources of my ancestral lineage by way of Africa, of course. Tomorrow, I will be speaking at the Shrine of the Black Madonna as part of the 5-city tour that's being hosted by the African Hebrew family of Temple Beth El. It will feature our young brothers and sisters who have flown all the way from South Africa. If you haven't seen them in concert, you need to see them in concert, and you only have 3 more opportunities to do so. Opportunity number 1 is tomorrow, Shrine of the Black Madonna, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6. Your second opportunity is in Detroit, Michigan, Saturday, next Saturday, 1 week from tomorrow, at the Northwest Activity Center, 5 p.m., doors at 4. And your last opportunity will be in Philadelphia at Temple University on Sunday, January the 6th. In addition to me speaking in Atlanta tomorrow and Detroit next Saturday, I will be speaking in Washington, D.C. this coming Friday at the Thurgood Marshall Center, 6 p.m. doors at 5. And my last lecture of the 2018 calendar year, which will also be my last lecture of Black America's 4th millennium in this country under white oppression, will be in Dallas, Texas, the Dallas, Texas, at the Texas Theater on Sunday, December the 30th, 4 p.m., doors at 3. What I want to do, and I don't want to keep you long because I have some other interviews to take care of here in Atlanta, and I need to get out and get some of that good Atlanta Southern Black soul food cuisine. Shout out to Soul Veg, and shout out to all the Black restaurants here in Atlanta. I'm hitting somebody up tonight with the team. I'm pulling up. Dr. Umar is pulling up at a Black restaurant in Atlanta tonight. If you're looking for tickets for Atlanta, Detroit, and Philadelphia, you have to get them at canaansbuilders.eventbrite.com. Those tickets are not sold on my page because it is not my event. I am the speaker, but not the sponsor. You have to go to Canaan's Builders, CANAANS builders.eventbrite.com. For Washington and Dallas, for the District of Columbia and Dallas, you go to my page, drumarjohnson.eventb.com. Please continue to send in your donations to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. Check in money order only. Payable to FDMG Academy. P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, 19132. Or you could bring your donation to any event, but put it in my hands and my hands only. This is the end of the year, and it is the end of a millennium. God willing, on New Year's Day, I will be making an announcement as to the location of the first Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. So make sure you tune in on Facebook at Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Make sure you tune in on Instagram at Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm going to go live and let you know where the first FDMG will be. This is our offering to the ancestors. This is our sacrifice to the ancestors. And I want to take a moment and thank all the brothers and sisters and elders and youth who donated to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy over these 4 long years. It hasn't been 5, it hasn't been 15, it hasn't been 10, it hasn't been 20, it's only been 4. But I want to thank you, the grandmoms who send me $10 a month faithfully. The brothers who are retired sending me $50 a month faithfully. The college students sending me $5 and $10 faithfully. The doctors and lawyers sending me $500 and $1,000 faithfully. I want to thank my brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom, England, Birmingham and Luton and Wolverhampton in London for sending those donations. I want to thank my brothers and sisters throughout the mother continent of Africa. Yes, brothers and sisters, I have a lot of love in the United States. I might be the most popular, yet unpopular scholar in the world. I might be the most popular, yet unpopular scholar in the whole world. But guess what? I have more supporters in Africa than in the United States. I have more supporters in Africa than in the United States. Most of Dr. Umar's supporters are on the mother continent. But you should not be surprised. And the reason you shouldn't be surprised is because Africa is a continent of 2 billion people. Africa is a continent of 2 billion people. So it only makes sense that I have more supporters in the motherland, a continent of 2 billion, than anywhere else in the world. So Africa, I see you, I hear you. For those of you who want to go with me to Africa this year, it's going down. Registration, January 1st. For those of you who want to go to Africa with me, it's going down. Registration, January 1st. The first week in March, we will be attending the independence ceremony of Ghana, which was led to its independence by Garveyite Kwame Nkrumah, who attended Lincoln University just outside of Philadelphia. We will be there to celebrate the independence of the first African nation to gain its independence since the fall of white supremacy in Africa. That's how we're celebrating our ancestors. That's how we're bringing in the 5th century and closing out the 4th century. That will be the first week of March. But if you can't go with me the first week of March, if you can't make it the first week of March, you can go with me the last week of July, first week of August. Last week of July, first week of August, Senegal and Ghana. Senegal and Ghana. Senegal and Ghana. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters from the Gambia, who I met for the first time 2 weeks ago, my first time in the Gambia. I loved it. I can't wait to come back and visit the island of Jufre. We're going to put a FDMG on the island of Jufre. We're not playing. Atlanta, there's a school in Atlanta owned by black folks. Once we get this first school that I'm going to announce on New Year's Day, I'm coming back to Atlanta to grab that other one. It's not a game. Detroit, y'all have a former charter school in Southfield, right across the street from Detroit, owned by blacks, the Academy of Southfield. Call them up, bang on the door. I want that school. So that will be 3 in 2018. I'm just going to call it. We're going to have 3 schools in the new century. 3 schools in the new year. One will be announced New Year's Day and the other 2 coming soon. If you're having trouble with the ticket link, text me. If you're having trouble with the ticket link, text me. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Resumes for FDMG should be sent to fdmgresumes@gmail.com. FDMG resumes@gmail.com. I want to do a movie review. I want to do a movie review on Widows. If you haven't seen Widows, I want you to go see it. If you haven't seen Widows, I want you to go see it. Contrary to popular opinion, Black Panther, for me, was not the most important black movie of 2018. It was Widows. Contrary to popular belief, not Black Panther, but Widows is the most important movie for you to see this year. And we're about to do a psychological political analysis. We're about to do a political and psychological analysis of the movie Widows. So, Viola Davis, Liam Neeson, Daniel from Get Out. Viola Davis, Liam Neeson, the white man who played in Taken, Taken 1, Taken 2, Taken 3. He was in the 18 movie Liam Neeson. Viola Davis, Daniel from Get Out. Everybody remembers Get Out, which was a toned down version of Nat Turner's Birth of a Nation. If you haven't seen my Get Out movie review, go see it. It's on YouTube. Somebody's making money off of it, but not giving me none. If you haven't seen my Black Panther movie review, it's on YouTube. Somebody's making money off of it, not giving me none. But anyhow, this movie Widows was profound for so many reasons, and I want to just jump right into it. The movie comes on. The opening scene is Viola Davis laying in the bed with her white husband, Liam Neeson. They're tonguing each other down. They're kissing each other. That's the opening scene. Interracial romance. The opening scene. But I want you to see how this interracial romance ends up teaching Viola Davis's character a lesson about dating the Neanderthal. For those of you who have jungle fever, go and see Widows. Go and see Widows. So it opens up with Viola Davis and Liam Neeson having this romantic encounter in the bed. Absolutely disgusting, by the way. Her beautiful black skin, her rich, deep, curly, nappy hair, those beautiful full eyes, those beautiful lips, much respect to her husband. Sucking the lips and tongue of a Neanderthal. I almost puked, but let me stay focused. I almost puked, but let me stay focused. Now, in this movie, Liam Neeson led Viola Davis to believe that he was dead. He gets murdered allegedly in the opening scene, him and his homies. He was living a totally separate life with a white woman. He was living a totally separate life with a white woman and led his black wife, Viola Davis, to believe that he had been murdered because he wanted to disappear with the white girl. I hope you're listening, Serena Williams. I hope you're listening, Serena Williams. And when Viola Davis's character found out, and her name was Veronica Rollins in the movie, when Veronica found out that her husband had in fact not died, had not been murdered in a robbery gone wrong, it blew her mind. She just so happened to be visiting the white lady. And a bottle of cologne that she bought her white husband, Liam Neeson, just so happened to be laying on the flower stand. And when she saw her bottle of cologne, her heart dropped. She walked over to the door where her white husband was hiding, but she couldn't even stomach it. Her soul and heart couldn't even allow her to open the door and behold the truth that this man misled you. You was married to him for decades. You had a son by him who was murdered by the police in the movie, by the way. Good job, Steve McQueen, with this movie. And I hope you don't have a white girl. But good job, Steve McQueen, with this movie. And I hope you don't have a white girl. So Viola Davis and her white husband has this black son who gets pulled over by the police and murdered. Police genocide. So she'd been through a lot with this white man. They've been together for years. And he had the audacity to set up a fake death and leave her with the white woman. And she found out by accident. But it doesn't stop there. But it doesn't stop there. He leaves Viola Davis the plans to another robbery because he was a scam artist. Scam artist. And so he left her the plans to another robbery. She thought this was his way of looking out for his wife in case he doesn't make it. My wife can conduct a robbery and live happily ever after. But boy, was she wrong. Boy, was she wrong. Comes to find out, the robbery plans that he left her were correct. But he didn't leave her the robbery plans so she could get some money and take care of herself. He left her the robbery plans so that she could risk her own life in getting the $2 million or $10 million, whatever it was. And then he would turn around, rob her, and kill her. Yes, brothers and sisters, go see the movie. The white husband set up his black wife to be robbed and killed by him. The white husband, set up his black wife to be robbed and killed by him. Movie was powerful. All you sisters out there talking about you want to date outside the race. Now, this may have been an exaggerated form of white male exploitation of black women. This may have been an exaggerated form of white male exploitation of black women, but nonetheless, it holds true. Nonetheless, it holds true. I've met countless numbers of black women who were dating, engaged, cohabitating, and married to white males. I've met countless numbers of them. And guess what? The great majority of them had sad stories to tell me about the dissolution of their romance with their Neanderthal partners. Nearly every one of them. Dr. Umar, he called me the N-word. Dr. Umar, he left me for a white woman. Dr. Umar, he called me a black bee. Dr. Umar, he told me he was just playing games on me. Dr. Umar, they have just as many side chicks as y'all do. This is from the mouths of black women who have dealt with the Neanderthal. So y'all want to keep on running out there, risking your life in safety for a relationship encounter with your enslaver's great-grandson? Keep it up. Keep it up. Y'all want to keep running out there, risking your life in safety for a sexual romantic encounter with your enslaver's great-grandson? Keep it up. Keep it up. So anyhow, the fact that he set her up to be murdered, he used her to plan the robbery and then tried to kill her. He used her to plan the robbery and then tried to kill her. She had to kill him. She had to kill him. Now, in the real world, the average black woman wouldn't have killed her white husband. She would have been too shocked and too in awe to do anything about it. In the real world, he would have shot her. Because your white Jesus syndrome, your Neanderthal Christ complex, your Neanderthal Christ complex would have got the best of you in the moment. You would have froze up. He would have took your life. In the real world, she would have died. Because when so many black women look in the eyes of a white male, they see a king, they see a deity, they see a demigod. They don't see an enslaver. They don't see an oppressor. They don't see an exterminator. They don't see a narcissist. They don't see a sociopath. They see a deity, a demigod, a creator. So y'all would have froze up in the moment. So then, this movie is based in the 18th ward of Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. Thank you to all the brothers and sisters who came out to the Harold Washington Center last Friday in Chicago. We need a school in Chicago. We need a school in Chicago. So the movie is set in the 18th Ward in Chicago. So you have this white guy, Jack Mulligan. His father had been a ward leader in Chicago for a very long time. Very long time. He was there when the ward was mostly white, and he was there when the ward evolved to being mostly black during the decades of white flight in the 70s and 80s after desegregation took place. When desegregation came in the 60s and 70s, residential desegregation as a result of the Civil Rights Bill, white folks ran away. And so the white wards all across America, this is Chicago, but all across America, the white wards became black. And this white man had been able to hold on to his job in a predominantly black ward, Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel. So you have this elderly white man who wants to pass control over to his son. But here's what I want y'all to understand. Here's what I want y'all to understand. He didn't give his son control of the ward. He didn't motivate his son to run for ward leader because he was going to look out for black folks. That had nothing to do with it. In the movie, he specifically states, because he didn't even like his son. Him and his son didn't even get along. They didn't like each other. But it wasn't about emotion. That's what we as Africans need to understand. It's not about how you feel. It wasn't about emotion. He needed his son to take over the 18th Ward in Chicago to keep the power in white hands and in family hands. To keep the power in white hands and in family hands. It wasn't about black folks at all. It wasn't about black folks at all. When President Barack Obama gave Rahm Emanuel, his White House chief of staff, his blessing to resign chief of staff and go back to Chicago and run for mayor, Obama didn't do that because he thought Rahm Emanuel would look out for blacks. Obama didn't do that to help you. Obama did that to help his white friends and his white Democratic Party. Black people had nothing to do with it. Political decisions in the black community are not made for your best interests. Go see the movie. Not Black Panther, Widows was the most important movie of this year. Not Black Panther, Widows was the most important movie of this year. So Jack Mulligan, this white son of this iconic old white politician, in the movie, he talks about how he don't even want to live in that neighborhood. He said, quote, "These people want to kill each other. I don't want to raise my kids here. These people want to kill each other. I don't want to raise my kids here." But yet and still, he was smiling in black people's faces. Yet and still, he was telling black people they were going to help him out. Yet and still, he was playing your emotions to get you out on election day so you can vote for him. Okay? And I'm going to be honest with you. The reason Widows was not a #1 movie in America is because it was too real. The reason Widows was not a #1 movie in America is because it was too real. It was too real. It could not be the #1 movie. Even though most of the actors did an excellent job, they can't make that movie #1 because it was too telling about what really goes on politically in the black community between the drug dealers, the politicians, and the preachers. It tells you what the real deal is with the black clergy, the black drug dealers, and the black politicians. The real story. Ain't no democracy. First of all, democracy and capitalism cannot coexist. Political Science 101. Democracy and capitalism cannot coexist. And the reason democracy and capitalism cannot coexist is because in a democracy, the majority rules. No matter how rich they are, no matter how broke they are, no matter how much wealth they have, or whether they're homeless on the street. In a democracy, the rich man's vote is equal to the poor man's vote. In a democracy, the rich man's vote is equal to the poor man's vote. You and I both know that in America, the rich man's vote is not equal to the poor man's vote. And the reason the rich man's vote is not equal to the poor man's vote is because of something known as capitalism. And what is capitalism? The private ownership of the means of production. Capitalism means that the land people need to live on is owned by a few rich, wealthy, selfish people. The food that people need to eat is owned by a few rich, wealthy, selfish people. The resources under the ground that people need to create is owned by a few rich, wealthy, selfish people. So if the people who own everything that the masses need, that means they have the power to buy off the politicians. How can there be a democracy when the politicians are controlled by the capitalists? How can you have a democracy when the politicians are controlled by the capitalists? Will the real democracy please stand up? Will the real democracy please stand up? And I'll go on record. I'll go on record. I'm not opposed to democracy. But I'm not no die-hard Democrat either. Because I know that democracies are popularity contests. And the people who win are not necessarily those who care about the people. The people win because they look good. Why did 95% of Black America vote for Barack Obama? Why did 95% of Black America vote for Barack Obama? Did he offer any solution to any problem? No, he did not. So why did we vote? In addition to the fact he was Black, in addition to that, he was handsome. He knew how to talk. He had a great voice. He had a beautiful smile. Michelle Obama dresses very well. She's very classy. She's very elegant. These are the reasons you coons ran out there and voted. This is why you voted. You didn't vote for nothing real. You voted for superficial characteristics of the candidate. Democracies are popularity contests. But be that as it may, you can't have a democracy when you have capitalism unless you don't allow the capitalists to fund the politicians. The only way you can have a true democracy next to capitalism is if you don't allow the capitalists to buy off all the politicians. And what do they do in America? What do the capitalists do in this country? They buy off all the politicians. So, you have Jack Mulligan, the young white racist, whose father wants him to inherit his control of Chicago's 18th Ward. And then you have Jamal. Let's talk about Jamal. Jamal is a young, corrupt, African-American politician in Chicago's 18th Ward who's in with the drug dealers and he's in with the gangsters. And Daniel from Get Out is actually his enforcer and hitman. Daniel from the movie Get Out is Jamal's enforcer and hitman in Widows. See, what Jamal shows you, and I'm not demonizing our brothers on the corner because many of them are on the corner because America don't have jobs for them and the Black community could care less about creating any. I'm not demonizing my brothers on the corner because America don't have jobs for them and the Black community isn't interested in creating any. But what Jamal shows you, the character of Jamal, who's running to become the first Black person ever elected in Chicago's 18th Ward. According to the movie, he's running to become the first Black person ever elected to Chicago's 18th Ward. Does it sound familiar? How many Black people have gotten caught up in the emotions of electing the first Black this and the first Black that? How often do we get caught up in electing Black first? Clarence Thomas after Thurgood Marshall, the first Black Supreme Court justice since Thurgood Marshall. Black folks is crazy. Barack Obama, first president. Black folks is crazy. Whenever they give us a first anything, our emotions take over our logical reasoning and we just run out there and start voting for folks who don't even plan to do anything for us. But see, what Jamal's character shows is that becoming a politician is a natural graduation from a life of crime. Oh yes. If you go throughout Black America and do your background research on many of our elected officials, you will find that even if they were not involved directly in the illegal drug trade or organized crime, they are definitely protected and locked in with other brothers and sisters who was involved in organized crime. And this goes for the white politicians too. Rahm Emanuel has a strong relationship with the white drug lords of Chicago. You better believe that. You better believe that. Bill Clinton, when he was governor of Arkansas, he oversaw the importation of the CIA's cocaine into Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas was one of the major import destinations for cocaine coming in from the Colombians into the United States. You don't become a big-time politician if you're not in with the dope. You know why? Because they will kill you if you do anything to affect their corporate interests. That's why John F. Kennedy was murdered. That's why John F. Kennedy was murdered. You want to know why they murdered Kennedy? Was it for helping blacks? That had nothing to do with it. Kennedy was murdered for 2 reasons. The second reason, he wanted to take America's money out of the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank. Kennedy said, our money should be in America's banks, not a private corporate bank. He had to die. That's the same reason Abraham Lincoln was murdered. Abraham Lincoln was murdered, not for helping blacks, because he did not. Abraham Lincoln was murdered because he wanted to take America's money out of the Fed. Now, what's the main reason Kennedy was killed? The main reason John F. Kennedy was assassinated is because him and his brother, Robert, the Attorney General at the time, big brother and little brother, President and Attorney General, big brother and little brother, Robert Kennedy wanted to investigate and disrupt organized crime in America. He wanted to destroy the mafia, the Irish mob, the Italian mob. Kennedy wanted to take them down. And that's why he was murdered. Listen, politics and organized crime are one and the same. Politics and organized crime are 2 faces to the same body. You can't get involved in one without being involved in the other. Let's keep going. So, you got Jack, the white son, whose father wants him to inherit his leadership of Chicago's 18th Ward so they can continue to control the contracts and the resources. People don't run for office to help nobody. This is why you don't see me vote often. People don't run for office to help. That is a lie. Anybody who tells you they're running for office to help somebody, smack their ass in the face. Smack them in the damn face, black or white. Anybody who tells you, I want to run for mayor in Atlanta, I want to run for city council in Detroit, I want to be the governor of Mississippi, I want to be a state rep in Los Angeles, I want to be a U.S. rep in Louisville, Kentucky, I want to be a state senator in Omaha, Nebraska, I want to be a state representative in Jacksonville, Florida. I want to be an alderman or alderwoman in Chicago. Any person who tells you they're running for office to help you is a damn liar. It's a liar. People run for office for 2 reasons. To get a check. To get a check. In fact, guess what Jamal said in the movie? Listen to this. This is Jamal. the young African American running to be the first elected alderman in Chicago's 18th ward. Jamal said, quote, this is what he told Daniel, his enforcer. He told Daniel, quote, do you know how much money aldermen make in Chicago? This is Jamal talking in the movie. He looks at Daniel and says, do you? Because Daniel said, why you want to get in politics? Daniel asked Jamal, why do you want to get into politics, brother? We got the streets on lock. We got drug money, car money, opioid money, gun money. Why do you need to get in politics? And guess what Jamal said? Jamal said, I'm getting older. He said, I'm 37. He said, do you know how much money an alderman makes in Chicago? $104,000 a year. $104,000 a year. Jamal said, I don't want this drug life no more. I'm 37 years old. That's why people run for office. To get a check. Not only that, in most cities in America, do your research. In many cities and states and counties in America, if you are elected to office for 1 or 2 terms, even if you only serve once or twice, you are given an elected official's pension for the rest of your life. You are given an elected official's pension for the rest of your life. Will the real politicians please stand up? Will the real politicians please stand up? Will the real politicians please stand up? Nobody is running for office to help nobody. They're running to get a check, and they are running to make money off of distributing contracts. They want to control the businesses and the resources in that neighborhood for money and power and status and kickbacks. Nobody's running to help no damn body. If you don't believe me, then name me 10 black politicians right now in this country, anywhere in this country, who have done something systematically to change mass incarceration where they are, systematically to change unemployment where they are, systematically to change police genocide where they are, and systematically to change miseducation where they are. Name me 10. I will wait. Name me 10. I will wait. See, you can't run that on Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm too politically astute. You can't come to me and say, brother, I want to be mayor because I want to help out people. Brother, I want to be state senator because I want to help out people. Brother, I want to be alderman because I want to help out people. Use a damn lie. Use a damn lie. And let me tell you why you are a lie. You can get more done on the street without being a politician than you ever could in office. You can get more done on the street as a grassroots organizer than you ever could in an elected office. So don't tell me you're running for office to help somebody. And then 95% of all black politicians are financed by the Democratic Party. White folks is funding your campaign. How you gonna help me? How you gonna help me? White folks is funding your campaign. How you gonna help me? Let's keep on going. So then Jack, the young white racist whose father wants him to inherit the leadership of Chicago's 18th ward, he tells his father, quote, we are losing votes. We are down 7,000 votes. Because remember, he's running against Jamal. Old white power, new black power, both of them corrupt. Jack versus Jamal. Old white power, new black power, both of them are corrupt. Jack versus Jamal. Old white power, new black power, both of them are corrupt. So Jack gets into an argument with his father, and he tells him that you haven't been taking care of business in this ward, and you're affecting my ability to win this election. He said the district lines have been redrawn. We have lost 7,000 votes because you didn't support the mayor's housing plan. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. It's about to get deep right now. I want y'all to follow me. Listen to what Jack told his father. If you live in any major city, especially Chicago and New York, I hope you're paying attention. If you live in any major city, especially Chicago and Detroit, I hope you're paying attention. Jack tells his father, because his father did not support Mayor Rahm Emanuel's housing plan, because his father, the alderman of the 18th district, didn't support Rahm Emanuel's housing plan, Rahm Emanuel redrew the district lines and cut out some of his black votes, and so now they might lose the election. Who said politics was about the people? If you think politics is about the people, you out your damn mind. The only reason the people matter is because they need you to vote. That's it. Outside of that, you have no say, you have no influence, and no decisions made are for your best interests. And we got the NAACP and Urban League and Congressional Black Caucus running around telling everybody in Black America that you gotta vote. They make you scared, and so you run out and vote. They call it vote or die. Vote or die. Sandra Bland was a voter. Is she here now? Eric Garner was a voter. Is he here now? Philando Castile was a voter. Is he here now? Walter Scott was a voter. Is he here now? Alton Sterling was a voter. Is he here now? Vote or die. How about we still die even when we do vote? Get out my face with that. Get out my face with that crap. You are not going to use fear as a tactic to force me to vote for you. You can't use fear against me. We done been here for 4 centuries, 400 years, and we still don't understand how this system works. It's time to turn the corner, brothers and sisters. 2019, new year, new century. 2019, new year, new century. 2019, new year, new century. It's time to turn the corner. Who with me out there? Who rocking with Team Pan-African in 2019? Who on Instagram is rocking with Team Pan-African in 2019? Where my real ones at? I ain't talking about the ones who just want to get on social networking posture. I'm not talking about the ones who want to make YouTube videos all day. I'm talking about who gonna beat them streets with me. Who ready to go door to door and knock on some doors? Who ready to do that? Who ready to get the elders out the house and put them in the van and bring the elders to the meeting? Who ready to rock out with me? Because the YouTube movement is over. The YouTube movement is over. The conscious community is looking real bad right now, so I gotta save it. The conscious community is looking very bad right now, and I got to put on the Superman cape. I got to put on the Prince Ifatunde cape and save it. I got to do a Cam Newton. I got to do a Cam Newton and Superman this shit. I'm going to have to take it from the head. I'm going to have to strong arm this shit because the conscious community got us looking real bad. It's a joke. It's a damn joke. It's a damn joke. 30, 40, 50 Negroes and Negresses who don't do nothing but make videos all day, and they call it liberation. They call it struggle. They call it revolution. Y'all a bunch of damn jokes. All you doing is monetizing conscious rhetoric for YouTube dollars. You're not fooling nobody. All you're doing is monetizing conscious rhetoric for YouTube dollars. You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. Conscious community don't even make toothpicks. Conscious community don't even own a parking lot where people can pay us to park their cars and we can use that money to build a school, open up a corner store. We have nothing. Let's keep on going. So, Harry Rollins is Liam Nelson. Viola Davis's white husband in the movie. He used her to steal the money, then he was going to kill her. We talked about that. And then the young white guy, Jack Mulligan, whose father wants him to take over the 18th Ward, he helped Viola Davis's husband cover up his death. So here you go, organized crime, organized politics, working together for white power. Organized crime, organized politics, working together for white power. And then, what I found interesting about this movie, guess what Viola Davis's career was? Where was she employed at? In the movie, Viola Davis is employed, okay, as a lobbyist for the teachers union. She's employed as a lobbyist for the teachers union. Why is that interesting? Good job, Steve McQueen. You better be with a black woman. Good job, Steve McQueen. You've been watching my videos, Steve McQueen. You've been watching my videos. Viola Davis is a lobbyist for the Chicago Teachers Union. Viola Davis is a lobbyist for the Chicago's Teachers Union. Why is that relevant? Because I don't care where you live in America, big city, small city, black city, white city, no matter where you live in America, the Teachers Union is the most feared union by anyone trying to seek an elected office. Why? Because there's more teachers than any other profession in the United States. There's more teachers and police than any other profession in the United States. And if you want to get elected, you have to do what? Cow down to the teachers. This is why nothing changes in our public schools. This is why nothing changes. Why didn't Barack Obama do nothing for the schools? Why didn't Rahm Emanuel do nothing for the schools? In Philadelphia, why didn't John Street and Wilson Good and Michael Nutter, why didn't they do anything for the schools? Why doesn't any elected official do anything to change education? Because you can't win an election without the money and the votes from the teachers union. They control who wins. That's why public education is untouchable. And it's the same reason why they don't do anything about police genocide. Because guess what? Teachers and police are the two largest unions in America. Teachers and police are the two largest unions in America. Police and teachers are the two largest unions in America, and that's why no black politician has ever ran on a platform to fix the schools and to end police genocide. Show me a black politician. Show me one. Show me one. Show me a black politician who has ever ran on a platform to fix the schools and eliminate police genocide. Show me one. They can't do it because they belong to the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party is not going to finance no black person who's promising to fix the schools and stop police from killing us. No black person is ever going to run under that because the Democratic Party ain't going to give them no money if they do. Dame Dash, former CEO of Rockefeller Records, Damon Dash, said something profound the other day. Profound. I've said it before, but it's good coming from him because of what he represents. Damon Dash the other day said, speaking of hip-hop in the music industry, the other day, Damon Dash was being interviewed, and Dame said, these major white music labels, Leor Cohen and Def Jam, Leor Cohen and Def Jam, and all the rest of them, Arista, all of them, Universal. He said these major white music companies have convinced us black people that we need them in order to sell music to our own culture. Let me repeat this again. Dame Dash said Leor Cohen and the other vampires of the music industry, and I'm paraphrasing, he said they have convinced us, and this is not a paraphrase, he said they have convinced us that we need them to sell music to our people. Damon Dash was speaking to the psychological holocaust that African people suffer from. Why do you need money from the Democratic Party to get elected by black folks? I don't understand that. Why does a black candidate need white money to get elected by black people? Help me understand. What did Dr. Carter G. Woodson say? Author of Miseducation of the Negro. And by the way, if you plan to invite me to speak during Black History Month, get your requests in now. Don't wait till the last minute. If you plan on inviting Dr. Umar to speak at your college, your university, your school, your library, your Black History Month program, invitations need to come now. Invitations need to come now. Okay? And free is over with. Free is over with. Except for the prisons. I still speak at the prisons for free. Okay? Now, let's go back. So she's working for the teachers union. Now, Jack Mulligan, the son, the white son who's running to be alderman of the 18th Ward in Chicago, guess what he starts in the movie? When you see the movie, you're going to see this. He starts a minority woman-owned program. Minority Women Empowerment. Pay attention, feminists. Pay attention, black women. He starts this minority woman-owned workforce to make black women think he cares about them. And the reason they're focusing on black women is because so many black men in jail, they can't vote. So many black men in jail, they can't vote. There's only about 2 United States that allow you to vote while you are in jail. So all the black men who are locked up, only for those 2 states can you vote while you're in jail. And the only reason why those 2 states allow you to vote while you're in jail is because the percentage of black people in those states are so small, it wouldn't matter anyway. The percentage of black folks in those states are so small, it wouldn't matter anyway. And then, in many states, not only can you not vote while you're in jail, when you get out of jail, if you're on parole, you can't vote till you're done parole. And if you're on probation, you can't vote until you off probation. New York City. New York City. New York City is one such place where you're not allowed to vote until you're totally done with probation and parole. However, either the mayor or governor of New York is supposed to sign an executive order, and he may have already done that, to reverse that. And the only reason why he wants to reverse it is he don't want it to bite him in the ass when he runs for re-election. The only reason why he's overturning it, is because he don't want that law to bite him in the ass. Because although there's more white folks in New York than black, there's millions of black people in New York, and he can afford that law to keep him from being reelected. It's all a game, brothers and sisters. It's all a game, brothers and sisters. It's all a game, brothers and sisters. And then, when Jack Mulligan comes off of his minority woman-owned campaign, a white newspaper man approaches him. And guess what he did? Like so many politicians do, you gotta have ready-made punchlines to deal with the media. He turned around and talked about how the decisions he made was going to help the black people living in the 18th ward. See, the problem with humanity, and especially black people, most of us are slaves to what we see. I'm going psychological right now. The problem with humanity as a whole, the problem with humanity and the problem with most black people is that we are slaves to what we see. It is very difficult to train your mind to look beyond the obvious. It is very difficult to train your mind to look beyond the obvious. And that is why we are taken advantage of. And then Jack, the young white racist running for alderman of Chicago's 18th ward, he says, quote, "Politics is a business. That's all it is. Empty promises. Anyone who says otherwise is fooling themselves." This came right out of his mouth. And I'm going to say it again. Jack Mulligan said, whose father ran the 18th ward for decades, he said, politics is a business. That's all it is. Empty promises. Anyone who says anything else is a lie. That's facts. And then we talked about the drug dealer, Jamal, running for office. We talked about the white racist, Jack Mulligan. Father has been running the ward. Now we have to talk about the preachers. Now we got to talk about the preachers. Good job, Steve McQueen. I need that FDMG donation. And your queen better be just as chocolate as you are, my brother. But let me digress. Jack Mulligan, the white candidate. Jamal, the black candidate. Jack Mulligan, the white candidate. Jamal, the black candidate. They both go to the same preacher. Stay with me. We talking about the black church. Jack and Jamal are running against each other, and they both go to the same preacher for an endorsement. When Jamal shows up, the black candidate, the gangster, Jamal shows up, and guess what the preacher tells him? The preacher says, "I'm the largest congregation in Chicago, and I have the largest outreach in Chicago." He said, "If I don't give you my endorsement, you will have a hard time winning in this ward because I run this ward. If you don't get my white Jesus vote, you don't win." And Jamal says, "What do I need, Pastor Pork Chop, Pastor Chicken Wing, Deacon Watermelon, okay? Reverend Sweet Potato Pie?" Jamal says, "What do I need to give you, Pastor, in order to get your endorsement?" And the pastor said, "What is my endorsement worth to you?" What am I saying, brothers and sisters? Do you want to know what I'm saying? I'm saying that pastors are paid cash money. This ain't no game. Pastors are paid cash money to go into the church on Sunday and sing the praises of a particular politician. They don't give a damn about whether that politician going to do anything for you. In many cases, they know that the politician ain't no good, but it ain't about you. It's about their money. It's about their money. It ain't about you. The politicians show up with a briefcase full of money to all the big churches in Philadelphia. Briefcase full of money to all the big churches in New York. Briefcase full of money to all the big black churches in Texas. Briefcase full of money, all the big black churches in Los Angeles. This ain't about no public service. This ain't about Jehovah. This ain't about Jesus. This is about money and power, brothers and sisters. They pay for it. The next time you go to church and you hear your pastor endorse a certain politician, I want you to ask your pastor, look him in the eye and say, what price did he have to pay for your endorsement? Did he pay you in grants? Did he pay you in real estate? Did he pay you in personal promises? Did he threaten to expose your private life? Did he give you a briefcase full of money? Ask him, what price did he pay? Preachers do not endorse politicians because they think they're good. You got to pay to think about it now. These mega churches got 20,000 members. These mega churches got 15,000 members. These mega churches got 10,000 members. Do you really think they're going to get up on Sunday and endorse a governor, endorse a mayor, endorse an alderman without getting some money? Do you know why he opened the church in the first place? Why did he even open the church? To get some money. Look at how many drug dealers become pastors because it's about untaxed money. Man, please. Y'all done lost your mind. You can't fool Dr. Umar. You cannot fool Dr. Umar with that nonsense. And then guess what the pastor says? Guess what the pastor says? Quote, he tells Jamal, ignorance is the new black excellence. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm going to say it again. Please go see the movie, brothers and sisters. I'm ready to go to the movies in Atlanta. Who want to go with me to the movies? Who want to go with me to the movies tonight? I need a nice 5'5", voluptuous, nappy-headed, curvate. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let me get focused. Let me get focused. He said, ignorance is the new black excellence. Damn. This is what the pastor tells Jamal. He's a pastor of a church with thousands of people. He's a pastor of a church with thousands of people, and he tells potentially the first black man to become alderman of the 18th Ward in Chicago that ignorance is the new black excellence. Let's break that down for a minute. Let's break that down. Why did the pastor of Chicago's largest church in this movie tell a black politician who needs his endorsement that ignorance is the new black excellence? Damn! That means four things. Number one, it means that as long as you make black people look good and feel good, you don't have to do nothing for them. It means that black people want an easy way out. We don't want to work for nothing. It means we would rather have a pie in the sky dream than a real plan for liberation. It means that the con artist is the new savior. The con artist is the new savior. The con artist is the new savior in the black community. And then check it out. Let me tell you how this scene ends. Let me tell you how this scene ends. So Jamal comes in for the pastor's endorsement. The pastor says, what is it worth to you? Jamal takes too long to make the pastor an offer. Jamal takes too long to make the pastor an offer. And guess what the pastor does? His phone rings. And guess who's on the phone? The white candidate, Jack Mulligan. And he says to Jamal and his campaign organizer, let's finish this conversation another time. I have your competition on the phone. Let's finish this conversation another time. I have your competition on the phone. The black church ain't about Jesus. The black politician ain't about the community. They are about them damn selves. When are we going to wake up and recognize that the preacher and the politician are both con men and hustlers? How long is it going to take us to understand they don't represent us? I'm just giving facts. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. That's why no politician will ever come to me looking for an endorsement. Ever. Ever. First of all, one of the rules of Garveyism, we don't endorse candidates anyway. We don't do that. I will never endorse a candidate. Because politicians are loyal to themselves, not the people. Let's keep going. So then Jack Mulligan, the white racist candidate for Chicago's 18th ward, whose father has been running the ward for decades, he gives money to a black young sister so she can open up her beauty salon. He gave money to a black young sister to open up the beauty salon. Why did he give her money to open up a beauty salon out of his own pocket? This is what they do in the ghetto. The politicians will fund small, petty black businesses. Nothing major. Nothing, just a little corner store. I'm going to give you money with this little Negro grant so you can, have people pay you to put weaves in their head and stuff, right? You know why he gave her money to open up the shop? Because she's a black woman. And by word of mouth, because he gave her money to open up her shop, she's going to use her influence with her customers to get them out on election day to vote for him. He don't care about her. He don't care about no damn black hair. He don't care about no damn weaves. He only did it to use her as a conduit to bring him votes. And guess what? I'm also willing to bet she don't own the building her shop is in. He owns the building that the shop is in. Stay with me. Stay with me. So what they do, what white folks do in the black community is they will fund petty black businesses. They will fund petty black businesses, right? So the black businesses will give the appearance that this building is black owned, but the building is white owned. But they use black people to sit on these buildings long enough for the white folks to come in and gentrify the neighborhood and buy all the property up. And then all of a sudden you say, I thought they owned that shop. I thought that was his. I thought she owned that. I thought that was his. The white politicians put black people in those shops to make it look like they own them. But on paper, they still own them. And then when they finally win the election and get what they want, and the gentrification campaign begins, they give all those black people that they use for votes their walking papers. They give all the black people that they use for votes their walking papers. I'm going to give you a real story. Temple University started a communiversity program. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you live in Philly. I forget the name of what was the name of the Temple University communiversity program, where everybody would go and get free classes on law, education, diet, nutrition, child. It was a beautiful program. Beautiful. But once Temple University felt that they had enough political power in North Philly, what did they do? They canceled the communiversity, canceled it, and then start buying up all the real estate in North Philadelphia. They used black consciousness. They used black consciousness to make black people think that they are on their side long enough for them to dominate the real estate in the black ghetto. When are we going to wake up? How long is this going to last? Let me ask y'all a question. 400 years. 400 years. Do we have to go through 4 more hundred? Do we got to go through 8 more hundred? Do we got to go through 2 more hundred? Do we got to go through 1 more hundred? How many more centuries of this bullish do black people have to go through before you wake up and realize that the only people who are going to solve your problems are you? The church ain't gonna do it. Obama ain't gonna do it. The preacher ain't gonna do it. The white man ain't gonna do it. Jesus ain't gonna do it. You got to do it. You want to hear something else? Let me hit y'all with something else. Why are African and Africana and African American studies programs so popular at America's white universities now? And we're about to wrap up. My question for tonight, I want to see if anybody can answer this question. Why are African, African American, and Africana studies programs so popular at America's prestigious white universities? I mean, after all, if you want to get your doctorate in African studies, why not go to a black college? If you want to get your master's degree in Africana studies, why not go to a black college? If you want to get your undergraduate degree in Africana studies, why not go to Howard, Morgan State, Bowie, Delaware State, Eastern Shore, Cheney, Lincoln, FAMU, Morehouse, Spelman, Clark? If you really wanted to get a degree in Africana studies, why are you at the white school? But that's not my question. The question is, why do so many white racist colleges have Africana PhDs and master's programs? Do you want to know why? I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I want you to look at every white college with an Africana Studies PhD, and I'm willing to bet you that at least 85% of America's universities with an Africana doctorate or an Africana master's program is one of the major real estate owners in the black ghetto. Do your research. The main universities pushing black people out of their neighborhoods are the main gentrifiers of the black community. They are the main ones with an Africana studies major. I'm spitting facts right now. If you don't believe me, do your research. I'm going to say it one more time and I'm going to move on. I got $1 million. And I don't got $1 million, but I got $1 million. If you can prove me wrong. I'm telling you that all of the universities that brag about their PhD programs in black studies, and Temple University was the first one. Every last one of the white universities in America with a PhD in black studies is also silently buying up the black community and pushing us out. That is a fact. It is a fact that the main purpose of universities is not education. The main purpose of a university is real estate. I'm going to keep on going. The main purpose of a fast food restaurant is not dirty, unhealthy food. The main business that McDonald's is in is real estate. The main business that the universities are in is real estate. The main business that your politicians are in is real estate. That's what's really going on. And how do you get rid of black folks? How do you get rid of black folks? You gotta manipulate them into thinking you actually care. The same thing charter schools do. The universities do the same thing charter schools do. They go into the black community and they open up a GED program and a welfare to work program and a charter school and make the black people think you're all for them until enough of you infiltrate the hood. Until enough Neanderthals move into that hood. And then all of a sudden, the GED program, cut. Welfare to work program, cut. Halfway houses, reentry program, homeless shelter, cut. Temple University's Afrocentric communiversity, cut. Once they get what they need from us, all the programs go out the door. When are we gonna wake up and smell the coffee? Now the movie goes off. Let me tell you how the movie ends. We're still talking about widows. This is the official Widows movie review. Please go see it. Please go see it. I'm going to make that movie required watching at FDMG. We're going to watch that movie with the students because I need them to understand, understand, and overstand the hustle that's been run on black folks for 400 years. I need them to understand, understand, and overstand the hustle that's been ran on black folks for 400 years. So guess what Jack does? He pulls a Machiavellian strategy. So Jack is running against Jamal for 18th Ward Chicago. Guess what Jack says? Jack goes to Jamal at the end of the movie. Jack goes to Jamal and he says, listen, I don't really want to be alderman. My father just wants me to do it. How about I sabotage my support, stop showing up to a couple of interviews, make a couple of statements that will offend black people, so I drop in the polls. You will go up in the polls, but the agreement is you're going to do what I need you to do when you get in office. Pow! This is how politics run. In other words, Jack is willing to let the black man win and become the first black alderman as long as he does behind the scenes everything that Jack needs him to do. This is why they love to put black people in office. This is why they love to put black people in office, because if you can get black people distracted by the color of the Negro in office, white power can do everything they want to do to black people while the Negro is there. Barack Obama. Barack Obama. There's no way in hell America would have got away with what America got away with if Obama was white. No way. Ain't no way on heaven that black people would have sat by if Barack Obama was white and let them push sexual confusion on our kids, let them push police genocide, take all of our rights and give it to women and immigrants. It's no way in hell black people would have sat by and let that happen. So the whites put Obama out front because white supremacy is not about the color of the politician. White supremacy is not about the color of the politician. White supremacy is about the color of the hand that controls the politician. Let me say it again. In this movie, Jack pulls out the race. Jamal, I'm going to let you win. Your people want to get a first black alderman, I'm going to give them to you. But you're going to do what I tell you to do, or I'm going to get your black ass brought up on charges. I'm going to let you be the first black because your people love first blacks. So I'm going to let you be the first black, but you're going to carry out my agenda. This is why I don't vote for black politicians who are financed by the Democratic Party. This is why I don't vote for black politicians who take money from white folks claiming to represent us. Because I know you are only the face out front, but the hand that's calling the shots is always a white man. The power of the unseen hand. Brothers and sisters, I think I'm going to leave it right there. I want y'all to pray for me and FDMG. Pray, brothers and sisters, that this deal goes through. We need this deal to go through. It's looking good. It's looking good. Because on New Year's Day, I want to get right back on Facebook and right back on Instagram. On New Year's Day, I want to get right back on Facebook and right back on Instagram. And I want to declare to the whole Pan-African world, in the name of our ancestors and our quadricentennial, that the first Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy will be in this city and in this state. And if you want to be part of the movement, I suggest you relocate, because we will not be playing. Where the first FDMG will be, that will be the new Black Wall Street of Black America. Where the first FDMG will be, that will be international headquarters for Team Pan-African. Where the first FDMG will be, that will be international headquarters for all Pan-African revolutionaries in the world. I'm talking about changing the game. I am a game changer. FDMG is a game changer. NIBPA is a game changer. Team Pan-African is a game changer. And if you want to be a part of the game changing, when I make that announcement, I'm going to let you know how you can join. Oh yes, it's going down. If not me, who? One of them YouTube Negroes? If not here, then where? And if not now, then when? How many more centuries? And I need all my loyal Dr. Umar supporters who supported me through all the negative press, in publicity, in charges, and everything we've been through. I want you, when we hold the grand opening, brothers and sisters, I need y'all to do me a favor. Promise me this. When we open up FDMG at the grand opening, please, if you see any of my haters, because most of them don't have a face. I've never seen them. I only hear them. If you see a Dr. Umar hater, an FDMG instigator, please let the African guards of Garvey security know. Please let the African guards of Garvey security know so they can be escorted out. No hater will be allowed in that building. At least 90% of the YouTube coons that y'all listen to, they not allowed in there, because damn near every one of them has something negative to say about the school. So none of the popular YouTube gossipers will be allowed in my school. Damn near every one of them called me a scammer. Every one of them said I stole money. Every one of them said I was running a hustle. So ain't none of them allowed in. They ain't even got the axe. If you ever made a video against me, you ain't even got the axe. You can't come to a school event. You can't come to a community event. You ain't going on no trips. You can't rent the facility. Your ass is banned for life. For life, you're banned. You don't speak against this. I'm trying to open up a school for our boys, and you up here trying to destroy and attack it because you ain't doing nothing for the people? Nah, family. I forgive you, but I don't trust you. You're not coming in my school. And it's a beautiful building. We got to do some work in there, but once it's done, oh my God. This will be the new international headquarters of Team Pan-African. All the space we need for all the conferences, our own campus where we don't have to worry about somebody charging us rent, putting us out, turning the lights off, not being able to talk how you want to talk because you don't own the building. Oh, it's going down. And it's going down tomorrow, right here, Atlanta, Georgia. Shrine of the Black Madonna, 7 o'clock. Doors open up at 6. Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard. The Prince shall speak. And on Friday, December the 28th, Washington, D.C., at the Thurgood Marshall Center. Friday, December the 28th, Washington, D.C., 6 o'clock. Doors at 5. Vendors will be ready. The Prince will speak. And on Saturday, December the 29th, in Detroit, Michigan, at the Northwest Activity Center. Program at 5. Doors at 4. The Prince will speak. And then one more time for the ancestors in Dallas, Texas. Where my Dallas people at? Where my Texas people at? Houston, where you at? Austin, where you at? Longview, where you at? San Antonio, where you at? Fort Worth, where you at? Black Dallas, the final lecture of the century and the year will be at the Texas Theater in Dallas on Sunday, December the 30th, 4 o'clock, doors at 3. Get your tickets, drumarjohnson.eventb.com. If you need to text me or reach me, if you need to schedule a consultation for your children, 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Peace and Black Power, family. I hope this live was beneficial. Let's keep on praying for January the 1st, FDMG. Let's be safe. Let's have a good, strong Kwanzaa holiday season. Spend time with your family. And for all the black women out there who don't never let your children spend time with their biological fathers, for all the black women out there who don't ever let your children spend time with their biological fathers, for all the black women out there who don't